This video will give you a quick look at the Pink Digrex, also known as the giant psionic oyster. This is a monster from my 5e book, which I'll link at the end. You are come to make tribute to the great Trarikia, Lord of the Grotto. Who amongst you is the sacrifice? Psionic mollusk overlord. A Pink Digrex is a giant oyster whose pearl contains psionic power, including a mind and magical capabilities. Though it appears to be merely an oversized mollusk, this creature is actually a sentient being who possesses a cruel intelligence. From its egomaniacal viewpoint, other creatures are inferior forms of life. Sometimes a Pink Digrex retains sea creatures as servants and pets, and it takes delight in being fed by them. Using its telepathy, a Pink Digrex communicates its commands in an eerily calm voice. If a subject refuses to do its bidding, it uses psionic suggestions to influence the creature's behavior. The Psionic Pearl. The pearl can be removed from a Pink Digrex with a minute of work and a DC 25 strength check or a DC 20 dexterity, jeweler's tools, or thieves' tools check. If a check fails by 5 or more, the pearl is ruined. The Pink Digrex's consciousness enters another oyster within 10 miles, eventually growing to large size. If removed successfully, this mystical stone is a Pink Digrex pearl. This is a wondrous item of uncommon rarity, requiring attunement by a spellcaster. It's a 5-inch diameter pearl that functions as an arcane focus, an orb. You can cast message at will, and once per long rest, you can cast either shield or suggestion. Statistics-wise, a Pink Digrex is a large monstrosity with a neutral evil alignment. It has a moderate armor class and hit points, and an incredibly slow speed of 5 feet. It's only an oyster after all. It's very strong and intelligent. It also has quite a bit of constitution. Its wisdom and its charisma are respectable as well. Its dexterity, however, is a major weakness. Its proficient saving throws are strength, intelligence, and wisdom, as well as proficient in the arcana and insight skills. It resists piercing damage except against targets it has swallowed. It also resists psychic damage, and it's immune to the blinded and prone conditions. It itself has blind sight of 120 feet, though is blind beyond that radius. It understands the Aquan and common languages, but it itself cannot speak. It uses 120-foot telepathy to communicate. Has a challenge rating of 5. It's an aquatic monster, so it can only breathe underwater. However, outside of water, it can hold its breath for 2 days. It's grounded. It ignores the first 10 feet of any kind of forced movement, and whenever it's in water, it sinks to the bottom. It has innate spellcasting, psionics. Twice per day each it can cast shield and suggestion. As far as actions go, it has a multi-attack in which it uses its Force Whip ability, then makes a bite attack. The bite attack does a decent amount of bludgeoning damage and grapples the target. While the target is grappled, it's restrained, and the Pink Digrex cannot bite any other target. As an action, a Pink Digrex can make a bite attack with advantage against a medium or smaller target that it's grappling, and if this hits, it swallows the target. The grapple ends and the Pink Digrex clamps shut. The swallowed target is blinded and restrained inside there. It has total cover against attacks and any other kind of effect that's outside the Pink Digrex, and it takes 3d6 acid damage at the start of each of the Pink Digrex's turns. The Pink Digrex can only have one target swallowed at a time. As an action, a character who's outside the Pink Digrex can try to force its shell open using a strength contest. If the Pink Digrex dies, a swallowed creature is no longer restrained by it, and can escape from the corpse using 5 feet of movement, exiting prone. With the Force Whip action, the Pink Digrex targets a large or smaller creature within 60 feet. That creature has to succeed on a DC 15 strength saving throw, or take 3d10 force damage. The Pink Digrex moves it up to 30 feet in any direction, even vertically, so that would mean the creature would fall and most likely take falling damage. If the forced movement slams the target into a solid object, the target falls prone. Alternatively, the Pink Digrex can use this Force Whip to propel itself 30 feet in any direction without dealing any force damage to itself. And once per long rest, it can use the Overpowering Waves action. Each enemy within 60 feet has to make a DC 15 saving throw, and on a failure, a creature takes 3d6 psychic damage and is stunned until the end of the Pink Digrex's next turn. On a successful save, a creature takes half the amount of damage and is not stunned. Here are some suggested uses of the Pink Digrex. It is a mastermind behind a rash of crimes in a coastal town. It dwells in a partially flooded chamber where the town's sewer flows into the ocean. Its thralls are thugs, bandits, and pirates, or maybe even Swagan, and they have stolen magical implements and material components from the local mage and priest, rendering them unable to cast most of their spells. These outlaws are preparing for their greatest scheme yet, the abduction of the nearly spell-less mage and priest with the intention of feeding them to the giant psionic oyster. A group of cultists regularly gathers at a secluded seaside grotto to make sacrifices to the Pink Digrex, whom they view as a god. The highest honor in their order is to be the one chosen to be devoured by the mollusk, and thus join minds with the psionic overlord. The daughter of the region's countess has been secretly participating in this cult, and she has just been chosen to be the honored sacrifice during the upcoming rite. While exploring coastal caverns, the party of adventurers come across the Pink Digrex. It rests in a natural pool, however, and it just appears to be merely an oversized mollusk. A telepathic voice speaks to one of them from an unknown source, preferably communicating with a primary spellcaster. It challenges the character to a duel of arcane knowledge, or even riddles. It says, "If you win, you may claim the pearl from the oyster. If you lose, you must leave a tribute in the pool." This is a trick. If the character wins the challenge, when it goes to claim the pearl, the Pink Digrex attempts to eat the character. If the character loses the challenge, the Pink Digrex demands its tribute be tossed into the pool, a small or larger creature, or treasure worth at least 100 gold pieces. To decrease the danger posed by the party, it uses suggestion to tell one or two of the characters to leave this place and never return. In the lower levels of play, the Pink Digrex makes a great evil overlord or mastermind villain monster. It has a good dose of weirdness to make the adventure memorable for all the players. This monster and many others are featured in my book, Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, along with new options for classes, spells, magic items, traps, skill challenges, DM advice, and much more. Check out the link to get your copy, or to download the free sample PDF, which includes this psionic oyster. As always, may your adventures be many.